And welcome to another episode of Aussie Tech Heads. It's episode 622, I believe, on the 28th, last day of February 2019. Now, hopefully, look, I've tried to adjust the volume for those out there, and I had some feedback through the week that our podcast was a bit soft. So let's see, I've turned it up a bit, so hopefully we're not going to distort now, and we'll see how that comes out for you this week. And if so, if it's all good, we'll keep it that way. All right, so I'm your host, Glenn Goodman, and this is Aussie Tech Heads. We are brought to you by startnewcompany.com.au. If you are wanting to register a company, like a company name, through ASIC, why not stop off at startnewcompany.com.au, where you can register your company fast, easy and direct with ASIC. You will also receive documentation in the form of constitutions, directors, minutes of the meetings, shareholders, minutes of the meetings, or whatever else comes with, documents when you start a new company. So the whole lot goes into your box on the website, your inbox or whatever, your account, and you'll be able to download it at any time into the future. Your certificate from ASIC will be there also. Okay, and also Aussie Tech Heads web hosting, which is at athwebhosting.com.au. Operates on SSD drives, immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registration, and more. So I'm trying to say it too fast. All right, look, we're just going to put the pause on the call in again this week because we haven't got no Jordan. So we thought we'd wait till we get the three of us here so we can, so the two of us aren't sort of trying to rack our brains and getting all stressed out while we're trying to take calls over the Facebook or over the Zoom. Anyway, that'll be next week. So, as I've just said, Jordan is not with us this week, and a big thanks to Will and Warlock for doing the show last week. And I'll tell you where I was last week in a little minute. All right, but first of all, let's talk to Joe. Hello, Joe. How you going?
Good, Glenn. How yourself?
Yes, good, thank you. Everything's A-okay with your computer, I hear now?
It sure is. It took a bit of getting involved in trying to work out what it was, but eventually I got it in the end. It was a faulty hard drive.
Right. Okay. So you put a new hard drive in, and everything was good.
Yes, put a new hard drive in, and I had two video cards in it. I took one out.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that was faulty or not. I haven't had a chance to check that, but everything seems to be working fine now.
Excellent. So did you check anything else? Did you check like power supplies, or you just went straight for the hard drive? Thought you'd do it that way?
No, I didn't check power supply. It was quite evident once I replaced the existing hard drive with another hard drive. I loaded Chrome OS on it, and that seemed to be working fine for a couple of hours. So I assumed that it was, the hard drive wasn't a problem. I assumed the RAM wasn't a problem.
Did you say last time you were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, did you say that you had a freeze up on the BIOS screen?
No, it wasn't a BIOS screen. It was the actual boot up.
As in
the actual Windows. So it actually loads Windows, and before you actually load in, it gets frozen.
Right, okay. Yeah, okay. So hard drive, all fixed, good stuff. So that's excellent.
Grabbed a 500 gigabyte Samsung 860 EVO hard drive from the local computer shop around here.
Yep.
And stuck that in, and it's going like a beauty.
Nice, good work. So it's going faster than before, I'd imagine. If it wasn't SSD before, was it?
No, it wasn't SSD before.
Yeah, so you're pretty happy with it now?
No, actually, no, it was SSD before, but it was sort of like half SSD and the other half was a standard drive.
Right. Yep.
I had two drives in it.
Yep. Yeah. So it should be. It's flying. That's good to hear. So you're back on deck. All right. Now, also, I forgot to mention the TuneIn Radio. You can get the Aussie Tech Radio, which is available on the TuneIn Radio platform. Just download that across any device: PC, iPhone, Android. Just jump into the TuneIn Radio app and search for Aussie Tech Radio, and you can find us at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads. If there's anything you want us to talk about, put in the Facebook pretty early in the week if you can, and we'll see what we can do. youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads, aussietechheads.com.au/paper, and the show notes at aussietechheads.com.au/podcast, and the Twitter, which I don't know, I don't really look at, so don't bother. All right, now, what was going on last week? Well, it was my fault that we weren't here, that the regulars weren't here. I went up to Brisbane. Oh, hang on, we've got someone coming in. It's Jordan. What's he doing? Was that Jordan? No? I thought I heard the ding-dong. Anyway, I've got the little waiting room now. But anyway, I can't find out who made that ding-dong, so I'll keep going.
No, maybe it was me. I put myself on mute for a moment and then turned it back on.
Oh, okay. Do it again. See if that
do it?
I don't know.
Try it again.
No, that didn't do it. I don't know. But anyway, yes. So where was I? Yes, I went to Brisbane and I went to to see Mark Bouris, if you would know. He's the mentor. And he's had that TV show, and also it's called The Mentor, I think it was. And he also had the I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. The other one, Celebrity Apprentice. So yeah, it was quite good. It wasn't like like a rah-rah sort of event. It was just he spoke about how he was mentored by Kerry Packer and went through pretty much his life and how he built and sold businesses and whatnot. But it was very good. Like one of the main things that come out of it, he's got this website, which is on the screen at the moment if you're on the video. One of the good things that came out of it was you can subscribe to this site, and it gives you access to like actual mentors, like real people, like you can ask a mentor anything, and they'll respond with some free advice. And he said they normally do respond. So just to give you an example, I guess like they give you the advice, and then if you want to take it further, they might want you to engage them a bit. So where was one here? I was looking for one.
So that part there is all free, is it? It's that sign in there and just it's all free for that first contact.
Yeah, well, I haven't logged into the site, so this is all free here. Maybe if you wanted to actually ask a question, then you might have to be logged in. I think the membership is about $20 a month, which is not too bad. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it. And but there was one. I don't know. I've lost it now. They must have someone must have asked another question because it was on the page just before. But there's. Hang on, let me just give me 2 seconds and I'll find it. This might have been this one here. So someone's written in and says, I've been meandering along in my business for the last 5 years and throwing money at trying to work out what I am known for and could market as a business. Is there a methodology or process that could help me? Thanks. And then, there's the two mentors have got back to him. One lady, she said that she's redirected it to her website, which must be a subscription-based thing. And then another guy, Gavin, he's written a little paragraph. Looking at your website and LinkedIn profile, it's obvious that you possess a lot of knowledge and experience, although I can see it might be difficult to directly articulate what it is you do. And he went on. Perhaps a helpful process for the business might be the process outlined by Simon Sinek in his book, Find Your Way. This may help you in being able to articulate a very simple and clear message, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So there's some little help. There's some help, so you're not out there alone, and that's why
sounds interesting. Did you get anything out of it, like for yourself?
Yes. I got a little booklet that we came home with, and it's just mainly around tips. Tips and tricks. Maybe like what's one of the tips was to be organised. I think he says you've got to write manuals for your business. So if you were hit by a truck, does then someone else know what to do? Can someone else just walk in with the manual and bang, they're away? And that goes probably for passwords to different systems, and just step by step. What do you do in your business from day to day? Another thing was like look after yourself. Don't let customers mismanagement be your stressful problem. You learn to say no, and if it's too great or too soon and you just can't deal with it, that's okay. Just say no and deal with it and tell them you'll deal with it when you can. And there's a lot of other stuff in there as well, like just regularly check. He said when he used to talk to Kerry Packer, the Packer used to say to him, just things like, what are the numbers doing? Where are we with this? Where are we with that? Blah, 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 financials. But at the end, he's always said, how was I doing? Because, if you're not doing any good, then the business won't be doing any good. So it was very interesting, and it was good. Well, I think it was about $99. I think he's going to Sydney to do the same seminar, and also to Melbourne. I'm not sure when the one is in Sydney, but you can look it up if you're interested. His website's mentor.com.au. So yeah, it was good.
It sounds interesting. Yeah, sounds really good. I've been to a couple of those sort of things myself, not with someone so successful as that, but you do get some good tips and tricks when you go to these things.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was good. He's got a podcast as well. That I can't remember what the name of it is now. It might be just The Mentor or something, I think, on the podcast. And yeah, I've listened to a few of those, and they've been pretty good as well. Yeah, they're quite interesting. He just wants to talk to the average Joe who's running a business and give him tips if he can. So yeah, it's all good. All right, so that's where I was. So there you go. Now let's see what else we're doing. Let's get into some stories, eh? So that's what we do round here. Okay, Microsoft takes the wraps off the HoloLens 2. So you might remember the HoloLens 1, I don't know, 2 years ago now, and all the pictures were about of, someone with it on their head, and they could see the actual version of, or bricks and trees from Minecraft in the actual living room, or a castle of Minecraft that was built onto the augmented reality, like built onto their living room table, which they could see that's where it was. The HoloLens 2 will be out sometime later this year, starting at $3,500 US, so I might go and get 3 of those. And it will be initially available in 10 countries, including Australia. So new hardware features for the updated device include an advanced visual display that doubles the field of view from the previous version, while maintaining a pixel density of 47 per degree of sight. So I don't know what that is, but obviously must be pretty good. The company said its new time of flight depth sensor, combined with built-in AI, enables direct hologram manipulation, claiming it has the same instinctual interaction as the real world. HoloLens has eye-tracking sensors that make interactions more natural. It has a more balanced center of gravity and uses a light carbon fiber material that users won't have to keep adjusting. Yes, so there we go. That's the HoloLens. So that's
sounds interesting. I mean, Microsoft is starting to come good now. They're putting a lot of innovation into their products and services that they're providing at the moment.
Yes, yeah. I think they've sort of turned a corner, haven't they, with when Satya Nadella took over. And because I think at the time, you're saying, let's give the Office for free for devices under 10-inch screens, and let's put it on the in the Apple Store and all this sort of stuff. And everyone was just going, no, where's he going to get the money from? But as previous weeks we've talked about, that Microsoft's just these days, just their income has just really exploded into the Azure platform, and you can tell that's where it's all heading. Like AWS with Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world, and he's Amazon, like it's all going cloud. It's all going crazy up there. But, yeah,
I've got a news on another Microsoft news later on. They've partnered with another company, and they're getting bigger and better.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, you can move into that now if you want, Joe.
Okay.
I'm finished with the augmented reality and the HoloLens, but I guess
apparently Telstra is connecting now your Windows 10 PC with eSIM.
Oh, right. So what's eSIM?
eSIM is the electronic SIM. You may remember we spoke about it a few shows back. When the phones now no longer need to put a physical SIM into the actual a physical card into the SIM.
Yes,
they have this electronic SIM. We talked about it a few shows back. So if any of the listeners want to know a bit more about it, they can go back and listen to one of the other older shows.
I think the eSIMs
and we go right through that.
I think the eSIMs were made, say, famous with the Apple Watch. Wasn't it that they got the eSIMs, which meant that they can use the data and the call signal from a nearby phone which has a SIM? Is that
correct? No, it's got its own little SIM, so therefore you don't even have to have your own phone with you. It's got its built-in SIM into, it's like a hardware thing that's built into the device.
Right.
And Telstra have partnered with Microsoft to enable embedded SIMs support in the new Windows 10 PCs from March the 7th this year. Australia Telco will make it possible for you to connect your Windows 10 as long as it's got an eSIM in it, right, to connect to the mobile network, to the Telstra mobile network, without having to do anything else other than just using the SIM that's connected in the actual device.
Right. So that's pretty good. That's good. So that's coming.
And as a special offer, apparently Telstra is saying that from March the 7th, when they turn all this service on, until December 31st, anyone that wants to try this out for themselves can do so, because Telstra is offering new customers to have a compatible Microsoft eSIM device, 30-day trial, and that includes 30 gigabytes of data.
Right. So is that the show notes that you've got there? Is that got a link where you can sign in, or you just go into the Telstra shop and organise it?
You go to the actual website is exchange.telstra.com.au. All right, and you can then follow the link to connecting the SIM.
There we go. Where are we? Connecting your Windows PC with eSIM.
That's the one.
There it goes. Oh, it's the same.
So yeah,
if
anyone's got one, usually this device is already got the SIM in it. So if it hasn't got the SIM already built into it, you can't use this service. So basically, it's a glorified big, like tablet. The ones you get the tablets and they've got built-in SIMs. So you can use one of those.
Yeah. So I think it says here that the eSIM technology is currently already available in the Microsoft Surface Pro 4G LTE and the premium HP Spectre range.
That's right. Yeah. So the Microsoft Surface Pro 4. 4G LTE, that's already got this service. So if you've got one of those devices, you may as well take advantage of the of this Telstra offer. You can connect it up for 30 days, get 30 gigs of data, and at the end of that, if you decide you want to go on a plan, you can do so.
Right.
If you decide you don't want to go on a plan, you just want to let it go, you can also do that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But this service, this free plan thing is up until December 31st this year.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That sounds good to me. That's good.
Yeah. So Telstra is getting their fingers in the pie everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're sort of losing out on the internet, aren't they? Now that the NBN's here, they've sort of lost their monopoly on all the wires that are under the ground and used to be the only ones providing these things. But speaking of NBN, my NBN apparently comes on today. It's available at the front of the house. But, like anything, I can't get, you can't make any sense out of it. Because with the Foxtel, I ring Telstra up and they say that the Foxtel won't go through the same cable once the NBN switched on. Foxtel go, no, that's not right. And then they go, yes, it is right. And they say, no, that's right. We've got to go put the satellite on the roof. You've got to get off the cable. And then you ring up other NBN providers and say, no, it all goes through the same cable. So, a bit of a mishmash. What do you do, Joe? Have you got Foxtel?
I don't have Foxtel. I have Optus.
Right.
But I do know that anyone that's on the Foxtel cable eventually would need to go to a dish. So, I'm talking about the television service, not the internet.
Yep.
So anyone who's got a Foxtel service via cable, like Foxtel TV service via cable, eventually will need to be converted or over to the. Eventually will need to go to a dish. So the dish, because that's what they're trying to get everybody off the cable network.
Yeah, I think that's because is it something like Foxtel doesn't want to pay the rent to Telstra for the cables or something, even though they own half of each other, don't they? I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway. All right. What else we got kicking around here, stories-wise? Let's try. Oh, how's this one? Google fails to disclose the microphone, which is inbuilt into the home security system. So Google said this week it had made an error in not disclosing that its Nest Secure Home security system had a built-in microphone.
Well, apparently it was always there. It's just it wasn't active. Yeah,
that's right. So apparently Google's just left it off the spec sheet for some reason. They said it wasn't intentional, but it was just left off. The on-device microphone, this is what Google said, the on-device microphone was never intended to be a secret and should have been listed in the text sheets. This was an error on their part. Google acquired the Nest for $3.2 billion in 2014. If you don't know what Nest is, they sell doorbells and bloody everything. Doorbells, security cameras, thermostats, and everything just connects to the internet, automatically adjusts settings based on user behavior and through an app and all this sort of stuff. Now, Alphabet merged Nest into the Google last year. Yeah, so yeah, that's a bit of a worry for some people, I guess. But everything's got microphones in it these days. Remember that story last year about Samsung and their TVs? They were recording what was going on in the room while they were, the TV was on and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, but I think pretty much now it's pretty much irrelevant, isn't it? Everything that you have is connected to the internet and is always listening to you.
Pretty much. I
And
know.
then if you got one of those, Google Homes or Google Minis or an Amazon Alexa or anything like that, even your own phone is listening to you unless you got it turned off.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, your phone has to. Well, I can't get my Google Assistant to work when the thing's in the lock screen. I'm not sure if it's supposed to, but
There should be some sort of setting in the assistant. Have a look at it and see if you should be able to. I mean, I for some reason the phone on my iPhone did an update, a Google update, and it turned on my assistant. I had to go through the settings to turn it back off because when I was talking to my Google Home at home, it would also trigger my phone, and that was annoying.
Yeah, I know. I was down because I know you love your Google products, Joe. I was down at talking to Tim, who looks after PC Fixit here on the Gold Coast. I was down there having a chat to him the other day, and then he's got this music playing, and I went, it was that good that it made me stop and go, I like the sound of that. Where is that coming from? And then I turn around, he's got this really big Google speaker, and I'd forgotten that they even brought those out.
It's quite Google Max or something like that. It was called.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly it was called, but I know.
I think it's called the Google Max. It's like, it's about 3 times the size of a normal Google Home, and apparently it's supposed to sound awesome.
Yeah, well here it is, Google Home Max. You're right, Joe. I'll show you this here. It's a big speaker. It's because the sound was just so good, and I come home and I think the speakers, they're not cheap. They're about $500 from what I looked at the other day. 447. Where's that from? Harvey Norman. Probably get it cheaper than that somewhere. But it was like, it just reminded me of and it's got the assistant inside it as well. And it just reminded me of the sound similar to the sound that I'm getting out of my Sonos. So it was just magic. I loved it.
I often wonder whether it's worth going out and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a hi-fi system anymore. I mean, when you get things like this around.
Well, that's right.
It sort of makes you think, my last stereo that I bought, and I'm talking about over 10 years ago, including the projector that I have, cost me $11,000, with my hi-fi system with the projector and everything. If I had to do that all over again today, I don't think I'd spend that much money because what's out at the moment is good enough. It's pretty good.
Well, what happened, like my amplifier, I had an Onkyo amplifier, and just before Christmas, something happened to it and it blew up. It was the second time something happened to it. And so anyway, I fortunately, because I don't normally believe in them, but fortunately for some reason, I took the extended warranty. And so luckily, because it had gone broke 2 times since I had it. So anyway, I took it back, and they said it was a write-off. And so they sent me through a store credit and to JB Hi-Fi where I bought it. And then I went, you know what? I don't really want to replace the amplifier. And I just bought a Sonos soundbar and haven't looked back. It's just as good. Like I don't need to plug anything into an amplifier these days.
This is it. This is right. I mean, before you used to buy an amplifier because you had a tape deck, you had a turntable.
That's right.
You had what else did you have? You had a few other little things that you had to plug
Blu-ray,
into it. But now everything's just done in one box.
Yeah, and so as long as you got, I suppose, as long as you've got enough HDMI's in the back of your TV, to take all your devices, and I had to sit down before I did this and think about it, because I had the Chromecast, I had the Kodi, I had the Foxtel, so what's that, 3, and I think that's about all. Yeah, so 3, and then luckily my TV had 4. So you had to, think about that. The connection to the Sonos soundbar here, the one I got, the big long thing, it's by fibre optic. And yeah, it's great. It sounds great. It sounds better than the amplifier ever did. I can't afford the bass speaker because that's like another $1,000 just for the speaker. But I'd like to get some little Play ones. I think they are the little tiny Sonos speakers, and put them up the back.
I've heard them. They're pretty good too.
Yeah, I love the Sonos range. And the good thing is you can play it all on any speaker. Like I can play the TV in the bedroom if I wanted to. You know, you can just connect all the speakers together and send it all around wherever you want. And yeah, love it. And yeah, but that's right. I moved from the amp back, or not back, but forward just to one speaker, a connected Wi-Fi speaker. I love it. It's great. All right. Now, what was that? Was that my story I just did? Yes, the Google. What else you got, Joe? We'll go back to you.
I have a story about an Energizer. You know, the Energizer batteries?
Yes.
Apparently, they're bringing out a smartphone now.
Oh, right.
Yeah, apparently the smartphone is called the Power Max 18K Pop. Okay. It has an enormous battery. It's 18,000 milliamp hour batteries, which is about 6 times your normal battery that you have in your phones today.
Is that the size of the battery, the size of the phone?
That's the whole size of the phone, yeah, the one that's on the screen at the moment.
It's thick as.
It sure is. The company says it's about 28 millimeter thick, and it weighs a fair bit, you know.
Right.
But they haven't actually released a weight. They haven't told us exactly how much it's weighing yet, but they reckon that you hold it in your hand for long enough, and you will feel the strain.
But what about how long does it last? That's going to last you 2 weeks.
This company, Energizer, who's producing this phone, says it can last about 50 days.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's got on the back of it, pretty much like the Huawei phones. It's got the reverse wireless charging, so you can charge other phones.
Right.
By, just putting another phone on the back of it.
It's massive.
And it's also got another input or output to be able to charge other phone and other devices on the go as well. So, right. I mean, I don't know. It's a good idea, but wouldn't you just rather normally carry around a small phone and then carry a battery pack with you, or would you rather carry this around with you all the time?
Well, I don't know about putting a battery that size up against your ear either. That'd probably be.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and does it get warm or whatever? But did you say how thick it was? It was 28
millimeters thick.
So it's 3 centimeters.
Almost, yeah.
That's.
I mean, my phone's 10 or 11, but I got the bigger battery in my phone, and I feel the difference when I hold it. It does give me a little bit of strain on the hand once I hold it for too long. But I got a 6,000 milliamp battery in mine, and it lasts me 2 to 3 days. No worries.
As I liked the writer of this article, he goes, so there's definitely some extra room in my 75L pack for this juiced up heifer.
Well, it's not even badly specs either. It's got pretty good specs. It's got this phone's got 6 gigabytes of RAM, and it's got 128 gigabyte storage in it.
Yeah, right.
It's using a MediaTek MT P70 CPU, right? So, from memory, don't quote me, but from memory, I think it's a 2.1 quad-core processor in it, or is it octa-core? The P70? I can't think now exactly. It's running Android Pie and has dual camera, 12 megapixel and 5 megapixel rear cameras, and it has a pop-up facing 16 megapixel camera for your face in the front.
Okay.
What was the other phone that had that? That was another phone that had that feature where it just pops up in the center. Yeah,
I don't know. I do remember something about that, but that's a bit crazy.
I think there's another phone that came out with that sort of feature as well, where it sort of flipped when you went to take a photo, it flipped the screen and it popped up, and then when you finished, it popped back down.
It's like those little, what was it? Were they Mazdas that had the flip lights at the front? The lights would pop up. Was it a Mazda?
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, they reckon that this phone's going to come out in Europe later on this year, and they're going to go for around about 950 Aussie dollars.
Oh, wowzers. That's all right, isn't it?
Well, 50-day standby. I mean, you've got to be happy with that if you want to, bring it with you somewhere.
Yes. I found me pop-up lights on the car. I don't know what car it is. I still can't see.
That's an MX-5.
Yeah, there's heaps of them. Look at them all. There they go. Yeah, all right. Oh, that's good. That's good, yeah. So it's a big phone. We might not see it over here, but maybe that's a good thing. But, yeah, nearly a month. Jeez. Yeah, right. Okay, where am I got? I got another couple here this week. to have a look at. Oh, now this one is all right. Byron Bay. You know, I titled this story like, what's Sydney? Where's Sydney? What is Sydney? And you might go, that's where all the tech companies want to be, and that's where it all happens in Sydney, yeah. But Byron Bay is catching on. So it looks like Zoho, and everyone's probably heard of Zoho. It's the customer relation management and productivity software. Has revealed that it's picked Byron Bay in New South Wales to set up its first Australian head office. How good would that be, working for those guys? You know, after work, just pop down to the beach, or beach hotel first, and then pop into maybe the other way around, beach and then the beach hotel. Zoho's new ANZ Managing Director, Timothy Caspi. The location was picked as part of the privately held company's philosophy of setting up shop in locations outside of capital cities to spread wealth and reduce cost pressures for employees. Well, that it certainly will, because Sydney's an expensive place to live. And, with the advent of the NBN and all the greater technology and greater speeds coming to rural areas, I think this is great. I think there should be more of it. I think the company should get out of Sydney, get out of Melbourne, and go and get down into towns and give some lifeblood back to the country towns. He said the managing director, was he a managing director? Yeah, managing director said the company will be initially putting on 20 people in Byron as the business puts down its roots to cater for what he said was the scale and demands of a customer base, tens of thousands in Australia and New Zealand. That's a picture of the managing director, although he is in Sydney in this picture, but there he is. But I don't know. I'd like to go and live in Byron Bay and work at Zoho, wouldn't you, Joe? Be good.
No, I think it's a bit too far from me. I'd rather stay here in Sydney.
It's probably, it's closer to me. What, it'd be an hour from where I am, I suppose? It's not far.
Yeah, probably an hour and a half to 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah. But you wouldn't like to go countryside for work?
I'm more of a city slicker.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for a holiday or to get away, but I'd rather stay in the city.
But I think it's a good idea that if tech companies follow Zoho's lead, that'd be great. Just get out into the more of Australia rather than just concentrate and pushing up rents and pushing up everything, cost of living in the city. And because I was talking to someone the other day, and they were saying, I think one of the neighbours here, someone that lives in the street, and they drive from here, from Gold Coast to Brisbane, just every day. That must be an hour drive. That's 2 hours out of your day. And, they're leaving at like 6 in the morning. They're not getting home till like 7 at night. Like, that's crazy. Don't you have to, at some stage, sit down and think, what do you want out of life? That's just
How many
working.
Ks you reckon that would be?
It's probably, it's about, I don't know, say it's, call it 100 to Brizzy. Call it round figures.
About 100? Wow. Yeah. Well, that's not too bad, because down here in Sydney, we used to drive, when I was working at Optus, we used to drive about 20 Ks or so, and it took me over an hour to get to work. So the traffic was just unreal. Yeah,
so I remember driving in Sydney as well. Like, I used to come down a little while now, before all my relos died. I don't go down there too much now. But, just driving actually come off the M1 and hit, I think, is it like near Ryde or somewhere? You come off the M1 anyway, and then you just crawl, and it takes you like 40 minutes to an hour to get to where I was going, which was Sutherland.
You're probably coming off the M2 there.
Oh, okay, whatever it is, the highway. We only got one highway up here, Joe. That's what we just call it, the M1.
We've got M1, we've got the M2, we've got the M4, we've got the M5.
Right, okay.
We've got an M7 as well.
I just refer to it as Pacific Highway as well. But anyway, you get off there, and it took like 40 minutes to an hour. But then on your way back, if you left at 5 in the morning, you get through that. What would take you 40 minutes to an hour, you get through it in about 15.
That's right. It's exactly right. Yeah,
it's crazy. But So overall, I think that's a good move. Go down to Byron Bay. Wouldn't mind checking out those offices, see if they anything flash. What else, Joe?
Apparently, there's a new USB standard coming out. It's called USB 3.2.
Right.
It hasn't been released yet, but when it is released, you'll find that you'll have 2 channels of 10 gigabits in USB 3.2, and you'll find that this particular USB standard is going to be known as USB 3.2,
Right.
2 by 2, which is for the 2 channels.
Okay. Yeah, well, I suppose everything's got to evolve, and if it's going to be better, I'll be good. As long as does that look like the same plug?
Yeah, so this particular one, USB 3 or 3.1, only works with a USB-C.
All right, good.
Device, which some of the newer smartphones do have, but you'll need to wait until you get the next generation chip, which is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855, to get the higher speeds, because that's the one that supports the 10 gigabit transfer speed.
Right.
Yeah.
So like everything's getting faster, isn't it? Like it's just. Do you ever just sit down and just think, how does even I suppose with a telephone really go back if you want it that far? Like I talk into this thing here, and almost instantly, someone 1,000 kilometers away can hear me.
That's right.
That's amazing.
That's right. But you try and watch a YouTube video and you get buffering. How does that work?
Well, remember that old experiment they did, internet versus carrier pigeon, and the carrier pigeon won.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it'd be on YouTube somewhere. But they did they got a carrier pigeon and they went let it go with like a 7 gig USB drive or something on its leg, and then they pushed go on upload to wherever, to the place across town, and then the carrier pigeon was able to fly that 7 gig to the place across town faster than you could upload it. But that's ADSL speed, like probably what 1 meg.
Probably dial-up speed too.
Oh, possibly, yeah. But it depends on the size of the file, doesn't it? But I don't like 7 gig. Depends how far it was across the Gold Coast. On 40 up, you'd probably think that 7 gig, it'd probably take maybe, I don't know, does that take about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that? Yeah, maybe a bird could fly 15 minutes and get there first still. But
yeah.
Interesting.
Well, apparently they reckon that this new standard is not so much for smartphones; it's more for people who have laptops or to connect up new hard drives,
right?
Things of that nature. Because who's going to upload 20 gigs or 10 gigs files via their phone? Not many people would.
No, but I do download the photos off my phone. I don't. I'm one of these people that I don't utilise take a photo backs up straight away, because I find that it gets too messy. You just get photos everywhere. It does your head in, or it does my head in anyway. So I'll every now and then I'll pull everything off the phone. So bring the phone, empty the phone right out, and then put the photos on my server here, and then deal with them from there. But yeah, so pulling down photos and videos off a phone, might save me 2 minutes. Good on it. Good on it.
Yeah. So those photos that you have got taken off your phone, do you have access to them when you're at home?
Yes, because I do upload them from then up to the Google Photos. So they're not
okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, because there's always been that one time when, oh, hang on, I got a photo of that, and then, oh no, I haven't. I've taken it off last week.
But even the good thing about doing it that way, and I suppose it'd be the same as leaving it there on a Google phone, is that the search, like Google can search photos really well. Like you can type in dog, and it'll bring back all the photos of a dog. It does really well in determining what's in those photos. But yeah, like you can, because if you don't know, Google Photos is unlimited uploads, unlimited photos, as long as they're not the raw, quality. So they're good enough, like it'll upload it, compress it, yeah, but to view them on a screen, good enough, great. And it's just it's a backup as well for your photos. So yeah, I like it. I use it. I've got the photos backed up also, locally, and also up into the iDrive, which we spoke about earlier before as well. And yeah, but I think the most of the time, yeah, Joe, I do get them and view them off the Google Photo cloud, because that's everyone's on their phones these days. That's what it is.
Yeah, I what I do with mine is that I keep mine on my phone, and I also upload them to the cloud. So, because when you've got 128 gigabytes space on your phone, you can't afford to put a few photos on there. So I do that. I mean, I don't have any music or any movies on my phone. I don't watch movies or I don't listen to much music. I just mainly stream it all.
Yeah.
So it gives you the advantage of being able to put photos on there. I mean, sure, sometimes they're on there for nothing. You've got old photos going back a few years, but then there'll be that time you're discussing something with somebody. Oh, hang on, I've got a photo of that. Let me get it. Then geez, you've got to try and find it. And you've got to go into the cloud and find it there.
Yeah, but the Google Photo, that's really good. And I'm sure Apple's the same. I'm pretty sure they probably have a search function and stuff. But yeah, it's a backup as well, so that's good. What else have we got going here? Look, the Census. There's a story this week. The Census that was a bit of a debacle. When was that now? A couple of years ago? 16, was it?
What happened with that?
Well, apparently, because everyone was worried about personal identifiable information and all this sort of stuff, and then the computer went down, the IBM mainframe or something.
Oh, that's right.
Fell over.
The system crashed.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going crazy. Well, apparently, Macquarie University uncovered a vulnerability in the census data visualization tool that would have allowed individuals to be re-identified through their responses. It's pretty heavy on the words, this story, so I'll probably read a bit of this one. The exploit, which the Australian Bureau of Statistics says has now been addressed, as they would, even if it hadn't, also made it possible to reconstruct original data from the population count. Do you reckon that government organisations, do you reckon they lie? Or do you reckon do you reckon they're allowed to lie, like flat out lie? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. Because when your politicians are in the parliament, they're not allowed to lie, are they? Even though they might, I don't know. But when
they're not supposed to.
No, so I'm just thinking, these certain departments, would they be, going along with the same rules? Or?
They might withdraw information or not give you the whole story.
Yeah,
and that's not allowed either. That's against the law too.
Yeah, so I was just thinking that when I was reading this story about that they've said they've addressed the situation, so you'd have to take them for their word, I guess. Now this guy,
but that was a bandwidth issue, wasn't it? Back then, it wasn't so much a security issue; it was more of a bandwidth issue. They underestimated the actual bandwidth that was required.
But there's also an issue though with you had to send them back, and I think the envelopes had barcodes on them or something, or somehow they knew.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, people were able to see something through the envelope without actually opening it. Yeah.
Well, they knew there was enough information on the envelope or on the form or whatever from memory that they knew if your household had returned it. So if they can pinpoint
that was for the gender thing, was it? Hang on, for the marriage.
Oh, was it?
You wanted the marriage. Was that? I think it was that one there, right?
I don't know.
Wasn't that one there where they had you can see whether somebody voted or not on it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because that wasn't a mandatory vote. Well, I suppose the census is probably mandatory to a certain degree, but it wasn't a mandatory compliance, I don't think, was it? That marriage
I
thing?
could get it wrong. I apologise if I have, but
same here. I don't know. I can't remember. It's too long ago.
Yeah, I don't know 100%, but I do vaguely remember something.
But anyway, this Dr. Dali Kafar and Hassan Jamel Ashgar discovered the vulnerability in the, here we go, in the perturbation algorithm used for the agency's online tool Table Builder, which allows users to create tables, graphs, and maps of census data. The algorithm preserves privacy by adding noise distributed within a bounded range, possibly undisclosed, to perturbs answers to queries. These doctors. By the cybersecurity researchers said the algorithm was faulty and puts high sensitive original census data at risk. And they just go on and on and on. Neither relies on any background and blah, blah, blah. Implications of this attack go well beyond re-identification risks, as the attack make it possible to reveal values intended to be hidden by the perturbation algorithm, and hence can it reconstruct the original census data. So, I don't know. I guess puts weight into the argument. I guess, there's a lot of people pulling out of the My Health record situation. I think, I don't know if you can still do it, but I didn't. I missed the deadline and really couldn't be bothered anyway, I don't think. But they'd have to have opt-out later on. It can't be just a bean and that's it. You're finished for the rest of your life.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I don't think I opted out. I forgot all about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got bigger things to worry about. So, yeah. Look, and there's also a new app to be trialled in Sydney, Joe, that will help you avoid your parking tickets. So the app is called Park and Pay. It's going to be trialled in Sydney, I think around the Rocks area at this stage.
That's right, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, okay, and it's allowing drivers to pay for parking on the phone. Drivers will also receive an alert if the meter is running low or if the park is about to turn into a no-stopping zone. A feature that will drastically help motorists, so it should. When the user get the notification, they have the option of topping up the meter through the app. That's handy, meaning they don't... Is there a maximum time that you can stay in a parking spot? Although, like, you might pay for your 2 hours, but does that also become a maximum? So
that's right. Yeah, you have to. You should go back and retouch up the meter. If you don't, if you don't, and you get fined, and then another further 2 hours have gone by, and the sheriff or the parking officer comes past again and sees that you're still there, they actually can fine you again.
Right. Well, I suppose they could, couldn't they? It's like probably going through.
Like you've already been fined, but you're still there another 2 hours later, so you've been fined again. And I'm guessing that after that, there would probably be a maximum, but I don't know what that is. It'd
be like, you go through a speeding camera at point A, and then you go through another speeding camera at point B. You're still going to cop two of them. So, so look, this is probably a good idea. Look, I was reading this story and, just wondering, where do these people come up with these ideas, or how do they come up, or how do they work so closely with the government in doing this? And I thought, this is what probably comes, this is one of the things that has probably come out of one of these hackathon events. Hackathon is where the government, for example, like a government hackathon, they'll open up a whole data set for people, for coders to go in and look at. So just be like a lot of data about anything. And this one might have been, a lot of data about parking and where the parking spots are, when's the parking spot used and all that sort of stuff.
What I was thinking of when I heard this story, Glenn, was that, okay, so it tells you where the parking spot. So what's it to stop somebody else parking in there?
In the parking spot?
Yeah, it says you get a notification and you'll say a few blocks away, oh, there's a parking spot right here. So what does it do? I mean, it sort of can't hold it for you, can it?
No.
Anyone can basically drive into it.
Well, I think, I guess so, yeah, because apparently a future development of the app is supposedly it'll let you know where the free parking ones are, and it'll probably let you know where there is a parking space, but yeah, it's not going to hold it. You'd have to still... Yeah,
so I'm guessing that once it'll probably be something like, okay, well, it was free, now it's no longer free, so...
Oh, I took it as free, as in free, no cost. Like free spots.
I looked at it from another point of view. I looked at it from as that the parking spot is free, as in it's available to put your car there. And then once you've got your car there, you pay per the meter, whatever it might be. And when it runs out of your time, say it's 2 hours, it notifies you and says, listen, you want to top up? So you can actually top it up that way.
Yeah, well, the sentence here that we took at different angles. It's funny how you do that, isn't it? How people get different interpretations. But the sentence is...
Yeah, well, that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, the sentence is, there are plans to also include a feature that will help drivers find free spots, hopefully reducing congestion around busy areas. I can see how you took that. I can see how you read that. Yeah, But anyway, we'll find out. I don't think it'll be that, because like if you don't use the app and you just drive into a spot, you're not going to care if old mate's booked it. That's right behind you with a hand on the horn.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm guessing what would happen is that if you don't have the app and you just drive into that parking spot, you'll get a notification saying, oh, this parking spot's no longer available, and they'll try and find you another one. I guess what would happen is when somebody leaves, it'll say, oh, here is a free space to put your car. And if you make your way there before somebody else parks, then fine.
See, I'm not used to paying for parking. We don't really do that up here. That's getting more and more prevalent, but yeah, I don't know. I'll drive around, I'll walk. There's believed I didn't know you guys. You also have a 10-minute grace period. Did you know that, Joe? I didn't know that.
No, there's no 10-minute grace. I parked once to do a renewal on one of my rotor registries, and I just got back just as the parking officer walked away, and he said, "No, sorry."
Well, good news for you then, because this is only new as of January 31st. You got a 10-minute grace period. There you go.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, it wasn't like that before.
Spewing, yes. So remember the old days? I guess, if the parking guy was at your car.
Councils across Sydney
what's
are
that?
about to give motorists
where's that
huge
silly
Christmas
video playing? There. Remember, the parking ticket. He'd be writing a ticket, and you used to be able to go, oi, 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 and he'd scribble it out. And go, all right, just move on. And
Yeah, no, not anymore. See, now they don't even mark your tyres. Now they just drive by and they take photographic evidence, and they drive by a couple of hours later. And if your car's still in exactly the same spot, they think, okay, well, we're going to book you, and they send you a bill home.
Yeah, well, I think the ones up here, the ones that we do have, I think it's all electronic as well. I think if it runs out, and I think somehow it knows you're still there, you just get a fine. But
yeah, there would be, yeah.
Yeah, they must have sensor plates under it or something.
Maybe that's why they give you a 10-minute grace. It gives you a chance to pay for it.
Yeah, maybe. You're supposed to pay before you use it, aren't you? I don't know. But yeah, I hate paying for parking. I suppose everyone does. And I had an issue once, but anyway. All right, so that's good. Any more stories, Joe? Or I think we might
Look, I've just got this little one here. It's only just a 2-minute thing. Memory cards are now getting a new micro SD Express standard where they get speeds of up to 985 megabytes per second.
Right. That's pretty good.
So it's been announced at MWC this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they reckon that the new format allows memory cards to reach speeds of up to 985 megabytes per second.
Wow.
It will rely on having a PCIe slot, an NVMe interface, whatever that may be. What's an NVMe interface? Never heard that.
Where was this at? What device?
It's a memory card's new SD Express.
Yeah, so I think that's that's for PCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I'll Google it and I'll show it to you. It's like, I think they do like hard drives. Like, they plug them straight in. So this thing here. It goes straight into the board rather than through like a socket or something.
So like a PCIe video cards, I think you just plug them in.
Yeah, just like that's the little socket up the top there. See where the connectors are. And you can just, I think the NUCs use them, those Intel NUCs.
That's right,
so instead of having like an SSD drive in them, they wouldn't be a NUC if it had an SSD drive. It'd be too big. So they get the hard drive on like a little RAM stick. It's all the go.
Yeah, I mean, so they're moving along pretty quick, making machines smaller, which reduces the heat as well inside the machine as well.
Yeah, so it's all the go, which is good. Yeah, it's good. All right. That's about all, I think. That's it, Joe?
Yeah, that's all I've got for this week.
Yeah, lovely. All right. So, hopefully the volume has not been too bad this episode. We'll soon find out, won't we? But, thanks for joining us, and we'll be here again next week. So you can get us on the Facebook Live. It's around about 7 p. When is it, Joe? About 6:30 to 7 p.m. Sydney time, Melbourne time. And all that sort of stuff. Or you can get us on the podcast through iTunes or through any other podcatcher that you desire. But until then, Joe, it's a good night, I think. Goodbye. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming in. And we'll see you guys next week also. Okay, bye for now.